Now, this video is an overview, and if you want more detailed information on each of the styles, please scroll down the page or search around and find the style you're interested in. So briefly, I'll touch on these. Here's an excellent example of stick style, where wood is most assuredly wood, and it's not trying to pretend to be stone at all. And this is a great home to walk by and check out. The Newsom brothers were great developers. You can argue with their aesthetic choices when it gets into stick Eastlake, but they were prolific. Gothic revival and Italianate are very well represented here. Now, we have many different styles of Italianate. Some are bulky, trying to truly represent wood, and others are more plainer in both senses of the term. We have some that are completely stripped down, some that are amalgamations of everything. Queen Anne, whenever you see massive amounts of ornamentation everywhere and plasticity of volumes, that's Queen Anne. Here are two examples of stick Eastlake. One has been stripped and shingled, and the other has its original stick Eastlake ornament. Here we get to developer homes. These are on Laguna. And you can see the not assured handling of different elements. Here in the Italianates, whether it's stripped or full, they do come together, but when it gets to the stick Eastlake styles, especially the builder Hinkle, he just did not know when to quit, and more stuff thrown at the building, I guess, more curb appeal, hence better. Here's an example, 1889. The very end of the stick Eastlake style, which ends in 1890. And here Hinkle, it just goes all out. He's got false gable into false mansard. Here he's got false gable into false mansard into false mansard. Here, not content with that, he now has 4 fake roofs, which is rather hilarious. Then we get into more stick Eastlake here, and then the city, because of the vast forests and the great wealth, we have the greatest concentration of stick Eastlake homes in the world. So when you walk around and you see the square-fronted bays and you see either plain or detailed homes with the mansard roofs, like here on the Golden Gate, when you see the gable springing from the mansard and all those details, you can pretty well be assured you have a stick Eastlake style. The Westerfield home is wonderful. The inside is a true trip through time. These famous Queen Annes are always worthy of a visit. Even though these are smaller Queen Annes, they display most of the distinguishing characteristics of Queen Anne, not least of which are the spindles. And you can see those here right over the porch and connecting window to window. The corner turret's another hallmark of Queen Anne. And the corner turreted homes are becoming rarer and rarer. Here's one of my bête noirs, the first painted lady. We'll get into that later in the other Italianate lecture. The whole idea of painted ladies, color is great, color is wonderful, but dignified, please. Some of the homes are just retina assaulting vehicles. Spanish eclectic, we have many, many excellent examples here in this city. Oh, this is just an awful example about what stick Eastlake can do to painted lady and vice versa. Another horrible example of stick Eastlake. Here's pure stick, great, really assured building in that style. We also have great examples of mission revival, and it's usually mixed with Craftsman and Spanish colonial revival, and they're sometimes very difficult to distinguish because the original architects were not that concerned about being purists in that way. So you get an amalgamation of styles. We have some great arts and crafts homes too, and then brilliant craftsman homes. We have very few bungalows in the city, but they would also be very at home in the craftsman genre. Here is another example of Queen Anne with only the onion dome being the strange thing. We also are very lucky to have Bernard Maybeck here. He did some great work at the turn of the century and all the way up to the very end of his life. This is another example of Craftsman home, and Craftsman was the American version of arts and crafts. And here we are at 1892, and all the preceding styles of the Victorian were done, pretty much done by that point. The only one that bridged the 1890 pivot was Queen Anne. It was very much like the destruction of the dinosaurs and the the meteorite that hit Earth, and that meteorite was William Morris. So please see the timeline for a more detailed explanation of the 1890 pivot. Here's Tudor Revival, again another offshoot of the arts and crafts style, but this is in Maybeck's hands, and it just is a wonderful three-dimensional explosion and exploration of the Tudor Revival style. Here, up on Pacific, more Maybeck wonderfulness, the quatrefoil or dual foil there at the side window wall, the exaggerated pediments, the nice black paint and classical elements. Knowles, another architect working in that style. And this home is just sad at 287 Union, which wants to look more like this Carpenter Gothic home at 31 Alta and 29 Alta. Some of the oldest homes in the city. This is one of the last Carpenter Gothics in 1882. The style was done again at the 1890 pivot. Here, more arts and crafts, great stuff. Wants to be in Cotswold, the medieval village in England. Another great Abner Phelps home, the Carpenter Gothic. Here, Mission Revival just threw everything at that building. No volume was unexploited. Here, this rather bland Mediterranean revival versus the Spanish eclectic bit of wonderfulness by Willis Polk. More stuff up on Presidio Terrace. Again, arts and crafts showing a very assured architect working in that style. Italianate grand homes wanting to be made of stone.